on the payroll, that's a holiday feeling. Naughty or nice, check the list twice. Snow on the ground, but the fish stay ice. Santa, sliding through the scene. Cookies, stack them high and clean. Presents, under the evergreen. Sleigh bells ring, it's a Christmas dream. Wrapping paper, rip, balls on the floor.
Hello. Welcome. December 23rd. Christmas Eve is tomorrow. Merry Christmas. From my family to your family. And look, these live videos, they're so that I can be present. They're so that I can be connected to you in a very real way. I don't do this for views or for clicks or to become popular. I do this literally to connect with you and to build a relationship with you so that we can break through together, so that we can make the best decisions for our health, so that we can step up and become better versions of ourselves. Now, normally during this time, I go live every day and I share positive news stories, inspiration, uplifting messages, some self-improvement work, and some passages that we read together, just all types of stuff that's going to allow us to stay positive, stay grounded, stay thinking in that positive mind frame and that healthy mindset so that it doesn't bleed into every area of our life and steal from us like so many other things around us are doing. We don't even realize it, but so much of the world around us is wired to get our attention and to cause us to feel emotions, whether that's fear or of the uncertainty or sadness, of loneliness, or there's always things pulling our attention and trying to get us to feel a certain way so that we can be sold products and goods by big companies. That's why mainstream news and mainstream media is slowly falling off, because people know that they're just going to be fed a bunch of lies about negative stories, and they only focus on the negative. They don't focus on anything positive most of the time. And so that's what I tried to create here for the lunchtime lift is what I call it for now, because I go live every day at 12 noon. I share all the most positive things I can think of. But today, we're focusing on our Lyme disease community. We're focusing on the people that are suffering, the people who have chronic illness, the people who want to step up and feel like themselves again, who want to have their energy, less brain fog, less joint pain, less pains and aches every single day, and more life, more years in their life, but more life in their years, more energy, vitality, and that spark that we always talk about, that health spark, that intangible thing that you can't really name, but it's that thing that people have in their eyes when you look at them. You want that in your life. You want that joy, that energy, that spark, that vitality, and that's what I want to be able to provide for you. Now, I just want to take this moment to be a little bit present with you. I want to get connected to you. So let's breathe together, okay? Big, deep breath in. And on that breath out, let everything go. Let it all fade away. Let yourself feel relaxed. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw get loose. Let yourself just ease into this day. It is 12 noon. We are getting ready for an absolutely amazing Christmas and New Year into 2026. And that today, I'm going to share what I did to actually change my daily, day-to-day life. Because, I always talk about this in like the broad sense, like I changed everything in my life. My whole world changed when I got Lyme disease, and it held me back. And then I was able to break through because of all the changes I made. But I want to break it down really simple. I want to give you this is what I stopped doing. This is what I started doing, because those facts can help people make decisions in their own life and step up in their own life and change things in their own life to then become better versions of themselves. And look, this took a long time. I'm about to name a lot of things that I changed in my life, but I don't want you to think that I did all of it on January 1st or I did all of it in at the same time. I took time. I chose a thing. I added it into my life, changed it, tweaked it, made it work in my specific life, and then tried to stay sustainable with that thing, stay on board with that thing for a long period of time. If I saw that it had positive results in my life, I'm going to be sharing it with you today. And if I saw it didn't have positive results in my life. You might have never even hear about it. I mean, I did thousands of things. I'm wearing a shirt right now that says biohacker because I really did take on that mentality of I'm going to test things to get my body to work better. And I think that mentality really took me a long way. But I'm going to share with you the things that worked the best, morning, noon, and night, that allowed me to start to slowly get my grips and get my life back. Again, back in 2016, I was absolutely down and out, rock bottom. I was in the worst place of my life when, on top of everything that had gone wrong, I'm talking about foreclosure, divorce, deep, dark moments. On top of everything that had gone wrong, boom, Lyme disease came on top of that. And so it hit me hard. Not only was it hard physically, I basically stayed in my bed for months at a time. I was not getting anything done. I couldn't really remember my days. I was sleeping most of the days. And my heart rate was under question, deep question. I was being monitored regularly for my heart rate to make sure that I wasn't, all of a sudden just going to die in my sleep. And so it was a hard process. It was long, and I took a long-term approach to try to fix it. Now I'm going to share today, what did I do morning, noon, night? What did I do throughout a full day to make it a perfect day? Now, I didn't do this 100% of the days. Remember, we believe in the 80-20 rule. We believe in trying to do the right thing most of the time. We believe in averages over time add up to overall results. And so this is the ideal of ideal. This isn't how I was 100% of the time. I never want to give the impression that I'm perfect or that I do everything better than you. In fact, I probably do things way worse off than you. But it's, I took so much time to learn all this stuff, and I did change a big portion of my life. And I just think that some of these changes can serve you. So I'm going to tell you what I changed so that you can potentially take some of the ideas, leave the ones that don't make sense to you or that don't fit into your life, but take the ones that do work, and let's move from there, because it'll help you craft a healing day, which I think is really powerful. If you have the perfect healing day mapped out, and if I do this in the morning, this in the afternoon, this at night, then everything will be perfect. And if I just continue doing that as often as possible, I will get results over the long term. If everybody had that and just did that every day, then we wouldn't even have to have this conversation. And so it really is the goal to help you come up with a plan for you that fits in your life, rather than you just watching my life and what I've done in my life, which did work, and I do help other people now implement things in their life. Please try to map this onto your own life so you can try and step up in different ways and change things in your life, rather than just thinking about my story. Okay? So 2026 health reset. Sorry, I forgot to show the presentation. Rewind. Boom, there we go. Wait, let me start it off with the cool picture here. All right, 2026 health reset. Now, let's just dive right in. I'm not going to explain every single slide here, but here's what I changed in my daily life that actually supported healing: morning, afternoon, and evening. So this is not a routine or a checklist. Sorry about the double bullet points here. I don't know why that happened. This is not a routine or a checklist. This is a snapshot of what my body needed. So don't think of this as a mandate or a strict step-by-step. Think of this as a menu that you can pull from, you can pick and choose from. And maybe none of this resonates. Maybe all of it is just for me and my specific body. We are all so individual, and it's time to stop pretending that we're not. We are. And that doesn't mean that what worked for me won't work for you, but it just means don't put so much pressure on other people's journeys comparing it to yourself, right? I mean, we found that the herbs that we use at LymeWars.com work for all different types of people, and across people that have had Lyme for 20 years and people who have had Lyme for 20 days. We've seen it work amazingly well for all those people. And I think it's because it's supportive, it's targeted, and it doesn't just kill microbes, although it does help with that. It also helps to rebuild and repair and protect your body from further damage, which is so cool and such a testament to plants and the herbal foundations that we use, rather than just constant pharmaceutical intervention or, harsher treatments, I'll just say. And so, by the way, there is a big sale going on right now at LymeWars.com. LymeWars.com. Right now, you can get, I believe it is like $50 off your first order, which is awesome. So $50 free. Think of it as our Christmas gift to you. We want to make sure that it's super easy to get started, especially during the new year. For this new year health reset, we dropped the price until January 1st. And then January 1st, we're making big changes across the board on LymeWars.com. So you won't have access to that anymore at all. If you want to get that, you should take action now, because we're not going to offer this ever again. And in fact, this is the lowest the price will ever be ever again, because we're changing everything. So go to LymeWars.com if you want to lock in your savings for the New Year health reset. It's a great idea to get ahead, get your herbs ready to go so that you're good for the rest of the year and you have the lowest possible cost ever. All right. So I just wanted to make sure I share that. Again, it's LymeWars.com. There's a link directly below this video as well. You should be able to see it there. But here's why daily structure mattered. First of all, it reduced nervous system overload. So many of us have our nervous system just on autopilot, going crazy all the time. And, it's like we're running around like a chicken with our head cut off, and our nervous system feels that, it feels that pressure to survive. It really is survival mode. And when we're trying to survive, we're not trying to thrive. Our body can't repair and heal itself if we're in that fight or flight state trying to survive. It also created predictability and safety. I knew that the next day was going to look very similar to this day. That routine kept carrying me through day by day as my days bled together and things were hard to remember and my brain isn't working correctly. It helped a lot to just have that regular pacing, that regular schedule. And this supported healing without pushing. I didn't have to motivate myself or get inspired or, watch some guy scream in my face and jump up and down and do all this tricks, right? I just had to show up and do the simple tasks on my daily to-do list. My daily non-negotiables were so solid, they carried me through. And they really got me better. And part of that was taking the supplements that I always share with you on this channel, but a lot of it also was just having the right structure. So the morning focus is really on reducing immediate stress and stimulation. So when you wake up, you do not want what I wanted to do personally. I did not want to pick up my phone and look at my phone right away. Like when I first wake up, I don't like to look at emails, text messages, anything that's pulling my attention and causing me to feel anxious or overwhelmed right away. I avoid it at all costs. I want to keep my phone hidden, keep it away from me for like the first couple hours of the day. This reduces immediate stress and stimulation. So here's what I stopped doing. I stopped picking up my phone right away. I stopped looking at social media first thing in the morning. I stopped doing coffee as my first input. In fact, I quit coffee altogether, and I stopped rushing into the day. Instead, I got started in my day slower. Let that sink in. Let that sit there for a second, because it is tricky, right? Still to this day, when I wake up in the morning, I got things to do, right? I'm like running 100 miles per hour as soon as I wake up. I get up. Oh, the video from yesterday, did I figure that all out? Did I script that? Now I'm going to film that video. Now I'm going to edit that video. Now I'm going to post that video. Then I'm going to go live at 12. Then I'm going to work on my next video from 12 to 1. Then I'm going to, everything is so go, right? And rushing into the day happens to me very, very easily. And so I had to stop myself. I actually had to work on myself in order to get myself to say, okay, I'm not going to rush. I'm going to wake up and relax. I'm going to move into this day slowly. I'm going to stretch. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to drink water, lots and lots of water. I'm going to breathe fresh air. I'm going to get outside a little bit. Then I'm going to, I'll still work on stuff. It's not like I'm going to be completely non-productive. I'm still going to be productive. I'm just not going to rush into the day and ruin everything, right? And so for some people, this might look like, hey, maybe we wake up an hour earlier than we normally would. So that way we have time to acclimate and get ready before going to work. I think that can help a lot of people. And removing coffee is great because there's a lot of health reasons for it. It's very debatable, and it's not very clear cut, but I personally quit using coffee. I think there's a lot of science that shows that it reduces blood flow to the brain by about 30%. I wanted to avoid that. I wanted to make sure I had full blood flow to the brain early in the morning. I wanted to make sure I had full control of my nervous system and of my anxiety response. And I think caffeine can oftentimes jack up that anxiety response and change the way we feel day to day. Oftentimes I get increased anxiety if I'm like jittery or have had a lot of coffee. And so I just removed it all together. It made me feel much more calm and much more relaxed. Yes, much more tired, but it allowed me to listen to my body. See, coffee actually blocks the receptors in our brain that receive adenosine, which is a tired chemical. So it's not actually causing you to feel awake. It's causing you to feel not tired. It's blocking that tired feeling. And so that's much different as far as I'm concerned. I really went through this process where I learned that listening to my body is paramount. It is key. It is it's very, very important. We're going to talk about it more. And so what I did was I said, well, if I want to listen to my body, I shouldn't be blocking receptors with caffeine, right? I shouldn't be blocking things. I should know when I'm tired. And the quicker I know when I'm tired, the quicker I can actually recover, take a nap, or do something to wake myself up. And so removing coffee, that was my mindset. That was my thought process behind why I should remove coffee. It allows me to listen to my body better. It allows me to get more blood flow to the brain. And it allows me to start off not as acidic. See, coffee is oftentimes acidic. We want to be more alkaline. We want to be more basic rather than acidic. And so lemon water has an alkaline effect on the body. Coffee has an acidic effect on the body. And so I switched it up for water, lemon water, reishi tea, which is a mushroom, a very awesome adaptogenic mushroom. I started drinking that every morning, and I stopped rushing into the day. So here's what I chose to do instead. For breakfast, I always had a smoothie, and I loaded it with powerful greens and healthy fats. Mainly, the two main ingredients were avocado and kale. Now, that sounds gross because it is. It doesn't taste good at all. So what I did was sometimes I'd add like a little bit of blueberries or a little bit of an apple to give it a little bit of that fructose to make it a little bit sweeter. And I try to avoid fruit for the most part to avoid sugars, but smoothies are almost unbearable and inedible if you don't add a little bit of sugar. And when we get a little bit of sugar early in the morning, our body clears that out very quickly. The insulin response is usually healthiest in the morning, so I wasn't too concerned about adding a little bit into my smoothie, but that is the most sugar that I had, is that tiny bit of fruit. And this is especially true in the beginning. See, for me, it worked best to be very, very strict with myself in the beginning and then ease up slower as time went on. And so with the smoothie, I started off extremely strict. No fruit in the smoothie, nothing. I didn't have any fruits or sugars at all in my life for months. And then I started slowly adding in the fruits to make the smoothie more edible, to be completely honest. But I drink lots of water, lemon water. I took my herbs and my supplements every single day. If you need herbs that are specific to Lyme disease and co-infections, that are targeted, that are supportive, that are high quality, third-party tested, and the most potent on the market, go to limewars.com. Everything you need is there. Meditation, breath work, kundalini yoga. These are just things that I did to help keep myself calm, but also in my morning routine to kind of, it's a weird balance between keeping myself calm, but waking myself up at the same time. And I think meditation and breath work and kundalini yoga are some things that I added in to try out. Try some of them out. If you never tried them, they can improve the way we feel in the present moment and allow us to get our bearings and get into the day without like forcing us to be super energetic right away, but also without forcing us to be like really sleepy either. It's like a good middle ground that you're not being so hard on yourself. You're just kind of like, all right, it's the morning and I'm going to get into this. Let me do my meditation. Then after the meditation, you feel very clear. And it's just a really strong start to the day. But we want to have strong boundaries around morning time as well, because sometimes people come in and just pull us right out of that space, right? It depends who you're around often, but we could have that person in our life that comes to us with problems at 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m. They're just like, oh, can you do this? I need help with this. This sucks and that's broken and all this stuff right in the morning. We want to have boundaries around that morning. So like for me, like people can't really contact me before 9 a.m. Even though I'm the type to wake up at 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m. And the very early morning is my most important time for me. That's when I am the most creative. That is when I have the most alone time, when I'm thinking the most, when I'm creating things the most, when I'm doing things that I don't get to do during the rest of my busy, chaotic day with kids and business and so on, right? So I have to have strong boundaries there. I have to say, don't contact me before 9 a.m. I'm not going to reply. I can't help you before 9 a.m. I'm helping me before 9 a.m. Remember, we can only fill up other people's cups if our own cup is full. We can only fill up our own cup if we have boundaries around that cup, right? Liquid fills to containers that have boundaries. If we have no boundary, it's just a puddle on the floor. So, strong boundaries are a must for that morning time. Now, afternoon, this is when we want to protect our energy, not just start spilling it all over the place and losing all of it, right? So here are some things that I personally changed. A lot of it is around food choices because, we eat 3 times a day. It's a huge lever that we have in our health regimen. I try to focus on salad and living healthy foods, right? Foods that are closer to living, closer to the farm, closer to the garden, directly onto my plate. That's what I want. And the more I did that, the more helpful it was. But I cut out sugar, I cut out dairy, I cut out gluten, I cut out alcohol. I cut out all those things because they can cause inflammation in some people. Some of those things like sugar and alcohol cause inflammation across the board. Dairy and gluten are more specific to the individual, but it's more common than you actually think. And it's very easy to overlook it or not even realize that you're experiencing this spike in inflammation if it's something you've always dealt with because you've always eaten dairy and gluten, right? If we know for sure that we're fine with dairy and gluten, that's a different thing. But most of us actually, a lot of people really do have low-grade immune reactions to those types of food, and they don't even know it because it's lower grade. It's not going to like destroy you or cause you to be in the bathroom for 3 hours, but it does cause inflammation. And so we do want to reduce that as much as possible. And I look for foods that give energy. For me, afternoons, the easiest thing to do has always been a nice salad. I just take handfuls of greens, throw it in a bowl. I'll add all different kinds of colors, right? I want bell peppers, red, yellow, orange, any kind of bell peppers, onions, garlic. I want some protein. I always want some protein in there because it's very good for our mitochondria. It's good for our energy production, and it's good for maintaining muscle mass so that we stay protected and healthy. So some kind of protein, whether that's fish or chicken or tofu, something that's going to give me some kind of satiety as well, because we will be hungry very often if we're not eating protein. And this one is key. This one's really big. Deep breathing before and during meals. There's actually a lot of science around our abilities to digest food if we're in a calm state. If we've taken some deep breaths, if we've focused on our meal and been grateful for our meal, like slowed things down a little bit and enjoyed every single bite, we actually digest and utilize and use all of those nutrients much more easily because of the calm state that our body is in. If we're in a ramped up, crazy, nervous system state where we're anxious or nervous about something, or there's a million things going on, or like we're getting messages, or we're still working while we're eating, come on, we've all done that, right? That can actually really affect our digestion and the ability to use and utilize nutrients from the food. And so if we want to get those nutrients assimilated throughout the whole body, we want to use and utilize more nutrients, we want them to be more bioavailable, something easy is just to take some deep breaths before meals. I also use this time to slow down. I check in with my body. Now this sounds all ethereal and weird and like you can't nail it down. It sounds like it's some kind of trick or like it's some kind of magic or something. But what I'm actually doing is I'm scanning my body in my mind. I'm thinking in my mind about my body, and I'm thinking, do I feel okay? Like, what's hurting me right now? What's like, how do I feel? Do I feel inflamed right now? Do I have some pains? Do I not have any pain? Do I have a headache? Do I not have, just literally scanning the whole body, feeling everywhere where there might be pain, where there might be a problem. And I'm just checking in. I'm just taking a note of it. I'm not doing much about it. I'm just kind of like, I'm using that moment to build the habit of getting to know how my body's, checking in with my body. How's my body doing? Right? And so many people skip this, but it's really helpful to just take that moment to check in. I try to eat outside when possible, just like the science that goes with eating slowly and breathing deeply. There's some actual science that points to getting some sunlight while you're eating can improve digestion and nutrient assimilation. So try that out as well. I like to go outside sometimes to eat, especially if it helps me get away from the electronics, right? If it lets me put that phone down, get away from the computer, get away from the TVs, and just get outside where everything is normal, where, back in nature, back where I'm just a human being having a physical experience in this world, the body tends to work better. The food that we eat tends to do more and provide more for us when we do that. And I like to move right after lunch. And if you're saying, I can't move, I'm sick and I have chronic illness, or I have this, I have that, maybe you had a surgery, I'm not saying go run a marathon. I'm not. I'm saying, like, I would walk around the block after eating, or I would, when I'm being more ambitious, I might do something like run or lift weights or something after eating. But when I'm trying to heal, when I'm in this state where I'm trying to feel better, I want to get better from Lyme disease, I want to remove all the chronic inflammation that's going on in my body. After lunch, I would just go for a nice simple walk, right? And if I was in a wheelchair, you know what? I would go for a wheel around the block. Like, it doesn't have to be insane or hard or out of reach. It can be something really simple, but I do like to move right after lunch. And I stopped doing YouTube or passive scrolling or looking at TikTok or looking at any kind of social media during my lunch time. So that really helps for the afternoon, because then I would get right back into my work or back into whatever I needed to get done that day. And I would feel clear, energized, healthy, right? I didn't feel like, like I just went through a whirlwind and I'm still digesting, but I was like working the whole time and I was looking at this one video and like pulled in 30 different directions, and all of that anxiety and all of that stress and the nervous system response does not allow healing, right? We got to slow things down and be intentional. And look, this is really valuable, I think. When I was going through this, there was boredom. There was patches of boredom. And look, I have 2 kids. I know boredom isn't fun, obviously, right? And kids complain about boredom like it's the worst thing in the entire world. But I did have to reframe during this process that boredom is an opportunity. Because as you're going to see, a lot of what I let go of was things that were just distractions. The Netflix, the YouTube, the TikTok, the messages, the emails, the constant, distractions are all around us. It's easier to be distracted than it is to be focused. It's easier to be distracted than it is to be bored. Boredom is an opportunity. When I reframed that, when I started saying, all right, being bored is not bad. Being bored is a good thing. I'm going to be bored. If I feel bored, I'll just kind of like be bored. I'll sit in it. And that changed things around a lot for me. And obviously people don't like to hear that. They're like, what? You accepted boredom? That's how you got better? That's how you became a better version of yourself? Yes. So many people are just accepting their distractions instead of accepting boredom. And, it shows with my kids when I, trying to parent 2 kids, when they're like, I'm so bored, I have nothing to do. It's like, it's been 30 seconds since you stopped looking at that screen and now you're bored. It's like, let's reframe this. Let's think about this differently. Let's be okay with a little bit of boredom as an opportunity to learn more about ourselves, to breathe deeply, to meditate, to think about the world, to improve ourselves. that boredom can actually be a catalyst for improvement instead of being, a crappy feeling. It doesn't have to be that like a crappy feeling that you're stuck with. It can be an opportunity. So I hope that resonates with someone and somebody takes massive action based on that. And when I mean massive action, in this case, it kind of means do nothing. Be bored. Be okay with that boredom. See where it leads you. See where the boredom takes you. Instead of being distracted and pulled in 1,000 different directions, try to see what happens with your boredom. You might be surprised. You might find out that you create something that you never thought would be possible. You might find a new hobby that you didn't know you had. You might become interested in something that you liked when you were a kid, but you forgot all about it. And creating things instead of consuming things feeds the soul. It actually does help in terms of how you feel in your body, health-wise, to be creating. This is my experience, right? I'm not saying that this is like fully studied or drawn out in the data. But what I am saying is, for me, when I'm creating instead of consuming stuff all day, I feel like a better person. I feel healthier. I feel happier. Things move better. I hit that flow state every day. And so I started trying to do things. I started things like painting and writing and filming and planning and creating things. And that's when I started this very YouTube channel. When I was fighting back against Lyme disease, I started filming videos because I was like, somebody else has to be going through this and somebody else needs help. And that was 9 years ago. So I'm still here. I'm still trying my best to serve, help people, connect with people. And, I just want to connect with you. I want to build a relationship with you where we're serving and helping each other. And so I serve people by showing up every single day and trying to do my best to give them amazing content. But I want to connect with you beyond that. And hopefully one day we can get everyone in the same room and really be connected as human beings on a human level, rather than speaking through these machines all the time. But in the evening, things start to shift. We start to protect tomorrow's capacity. We're thinking about how we can have a good evening so that we can have another good morning the next day. Each thing leads to the next. Each moment leads to the next moment. We got to set ourselves up for success, right? So in the evening, the main meal that I eat, right, just to recap a little bit, it was smoothie for breakfast, salad for lunch. Now at dinner, I do veggie and protein stir fry. So that's literally just a bunch of veggies thrown in a pan and stir fried up, right? And you can add spices that you like or anything that allows you to eat it a little bit easier. But the veggies are powerful. Obviously, there's a ton of benefits there, a ton of nutrients, anti-inflammatory compounds, prebiotics. There's a ton of benefits to eating that way. And then the protein, obviously, we just want to always have that protein to support our mitochondria, support our cells, support our muscle growth, or at least trying to keep a lot of the muscle in our body because it protects us from harm in the long run. I stopped eating rice, pasta, or any high glycemic foods like even regular white potatoes because, again, they were just high glycemic. They cause your blood sugar to spike, and what goes up must come down. When it comes back down, you crash. Your energy crashes, right? So it was a simple choice to avoid some of that stuff, and I would try to create calm, predictable evenings. I wanted it to be simple and calm. If things started getting out of hand, right, I started getting pulled in too many directions, things got too stressful, I would just like drop it all sometimes during this period of my life. I would say, all right, yeah, I get it. Like, I'm supposed to go do that dinner with that person. I'm supposed to see this friend. I'm supposed to do that thing. But you know what? I'm taking tonight for myself. And, I'm not here to say that that was a good choice or that you should make that choice. I'm just sharing what happened, right? And so sometimes to have a predictable and calm evening, we need to drop other priorities or other things that we thought we wanted to do at the time, but they come back up and they're not fitting into our routine, right? And so there was a lot of that when I was fighting Lyme disease. There was a lot of things I canceled or didn't make it to or decided not to do. And I don't regret any of it because I was able to get my health back. And that's way more valuable, way more important than one little dinner date that I missed or one little event that I missed. Now I can go on events all the time. I can go to every single one of them and have my energy and have my body and have my health because I got better, because I took the time to say no when it mattered. Just something to think about. So here are some things that I stopped. I did stop Netflix and binge watching anything. I stopped watching random movies on all of the different streaming websites, whether it's Netflix or Amazon or whatever else. And I stopped any emotional conflict or fighting. I just literally said, like, yeah, I get it. Like, we disagree and I'm not going to fight. And I would walk away, whether it's with a family member, a loved one, a spouse, kids, anyone. I learned to control my emotions much better, and I learned to cut off the conflict before the fighting escalated to where it was so stressful and it bled into my sleep and it bled into the rest of my life, which has happened to me in the past. Like, there's been times where the emotional conflict was so much that it ruined my sleep, or it kept me up late, or it caused me to like question everything in my life and all this other roller coaster type stuff, where if I was able to just control it more and just have boundaries around it, like, all right, I'm not going to fight with you until 1 a.m. That's completely pointless, right? Now it's ruining both of our next day and beyond. But if we're going to have this conflict, let's like have a boundary around it. Let's talk. Okay, look, we're not coming to an agreement right now. Can we talk about this tomorrow at this time with this intention? Right? We're going to get through this. We're going to untangle this. We're going to figure this out. But let's do it at 1 p.m. tomorrow. And that way we'll both come prepared to the conversation. Prepared being, we're going to get to the outcome that we're looking for. We're going to get through this whole entanglement. We're going to figure this whole thing out and come out better, instead of, just fighting and starting to hurt each other's feelings for no reason, which often happens in family infighting or spousal fighting. Is it devolves into something where now we're just saying things because we know it's the other person, like we know we can like win the argument, rather than trying to come to an agreed upon stance where we can both move forward. Which, I never thought I would have to untangle all these emotional things or these relationship issues in order to get my health in order, but it's all so intertwined. Right? This is the crux of holistic living, of holistic wellness. It's knowing that all of this stuff matters. Not just one single thing. It's not going to be one diet or one supplement or one single food that's going to fix everything. It is everything combined in our life creates a whole version of us. And if everything is off, if things are not working, it's up to us to untangle all of that and to go through piece by piece and figure out what is the missing piece, what is causing this problem. So here's what I do in the evening to wind down. Wind down would start at 7 p.m. And our body is very smart, right? We get these signals. When we see sunlight, our body knows it's time to be awake. When we see darkness, and it knows it's time to start going to bed. Melatonin gets released. Certain hormones get released in the body for bedtime. And so 7 p.m., boom, lights go at least dimmed. Like I would leave like one light on or something like far away that floods light enough into the room that I can see, but not so much where I am being like getting the message like it's time to be awake. It's to get the message it's time to be sleeping, right? It's time to start winding down. So that was at 7 p.m. and I was usually in bed by 9 p.m. and I did my best to hit that as often as possible. Again, we always believe in the 80-20 rule. It wasn't always 9 p.m. Sometimes I had to stay up till 10 or 11, depending on life, right? We're human beings. Life happens. So it's not strict 100% of the time. It is 80-20 for all of this stuff for me. And again, none of this is for you to take and go run and do all of it. This is to get some ideas so you can see, how can my life change? We're all individuals. We're all unique. But this is what helped me get through. This is what helped me become the version of me that doesn't have to deal with illness, Lyme disease, chronic illness, heart problems, so much more. So the electronics really do stop us, right? And at 7 p.m., we got to put those away. Or at least at some point, you got to put it away. You got to say, I'm not going to continue looking at my phone all night until I forget and then I wake up the next day, right? We got to put that away hours before we're even in bed and watch what happens to our sleep. Our sleep gets so much better when we're not ramping up that nervous system by looking at videos or looking at screens. The blue light is something to think about, but on top of that, it's the nervous system. It's the getting yourself all ramped up and worked up. That really does affect our sleep long term and short term. So here's a key reminder. This is not about doing everything that I've given you today. These are just things that I changed in my life. And so many people have told me how helpful it is when I give them, look, this is what I was doing before, this is what I stopped doing, and this is what I started doing. When I give them that very clear step by step, this is what I was doing, this is what I stopped doing, this is what I started doing, they take it and run with it. They love it. People love to hear that stuff for whatever reason. They say, that's exactly what I needed. I needed to know exactly what you focused on and what you cared about, what you did and what you changed. That's what helped me change my life. And I've heard that enough times now over the past 8 years that I decided, well, I have to give this to them on purpose as often as possible so they know, so they have it. And so one small change, though, is all you need. That's all you need. Just pick one change, one single thing that you're going to change and do it this week, right? Figure it out. Figure out how you can change one single habit and figure out how you're going to do it this week. Because January 1st is right around the corner. Not saying that that matters or that you have to change everything for January 1st, but let's step into 2026 and do our best, right? Let's set ourselves up. Let's start thinking about it now so we can set ourselves up for when January 1st comes. We're already in the swing of things. We're already moving in that direction. We already figured it out. We already found the kinks. We found the problem areas. We found how it can fit into our unique lifestyle. And we fixed it. And we made it work. That's what we want. And remember, listening is healing. Listen to your body. Feel things, right? Feel your emotions. Especially if you're a man watching this, there's one area we can all work on, and it's feeling our emotions. We've all been taught to push them down, hide them, throw them away, pretend they don't exist. And it all just leads to frustration and anger in the long term, which is still an emotion. Only it's a weak emotion. It's emotion that makes you look terrible as a man. So, in my opinion, it's much better to feel all the stuff as it's happening and listening to our body and listening to those emotions, listening to those different things, and then also sharing them, like talking about them with people that you love and trust goes such a long way. And if you don't have anyone you love and trust that you can share emotions with or you can talk to, reach out to me. help@LymeDiseaseWars.com. I wasn't sure if I was going to say that there, but I just can't deal with it. I can't sit here and pretend like I care about people and then not offer them a way to talk. Like, look, we are all having this human experience together. We are in this together. I truly mean that. I truly do this to connect with real live people. And I've been showing up every single day just knowing that there's someone on the other side of this screen that really, really needs this. And I want you to know that I'm here with you. I'm here for you, and I'm going to keep showing up for you. And I want to connect with you deeply and build a relationship with you where you have me as at least as someone to lead the way, or at least as someone to point you in the right direction if you need it, or even just someone to listen. It's one of my greatest strengths is just listening. I find that so many people don't know how to listen to their friends and their family. And so it's something that I've practiced on purpose over time and got better and better at. Now, I often have conversations where at the end of the conversation, the other person didn't ask me anything about myself, but I know everything about the person because I just sit there and listen and ask questions and talk to them because I really, really care about people. It's one of my favorite things about life is people, right? So many people say the opposite, that they hate people and stuff, and it's always bothered me. I do love people. I find them fascinating, interesting, strong. I find that all of us have different character, different values, different things we can teach each other. We're so fascinating and interesting, and I just love it. But in closing, when I reduced friction in my life, that's when healing actually happened, right? It wasn't when I did that crazy plan that I couldn't do, right? It wasn't when I finally was able to do the hard thing that I wasn't able to do before. It's when I reduced friction, when I made it easy to do the things that were hard. That's when things started to happen. When I started buying only whole foods, then I started eating only whole foods, right? Simple things like that people don't think about. I reduced the friction for how hard it will be to make the right decision every step of the way, every single day. And when I reduced that friction, it was easier to do the right thing. And when it's easier to do the right thing, you're going to do it 9 times out of 10. Plus, I gave myself some rewards, right? A little bit of feeling of like, this is a win. I ate healthy. This is a win, right? Celebrate those small wins because they will carry you through. I ate a salad for lunch. That's a win, right? My joints hurt. My head hurts. I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I don't feel good, but I ate a salad. I win, right? If everything else goes wrong, still celebrate those small wins on doing the actions that you want to do, because it's about becoming the type of person that does those actions. Changing your identity to the person who does those actions on a regular basis will make you completely unstoppable. So reward yourself as you do those actions. Even if just by telling yourself in your head, hey, good job. Good job, you did it. Good job, you ate a salad. Good job, you went for that walk. Good job, you took your herbs today. Good job, you ordered Lyme's herbs from lymewars.com. Okay, so you get to adapt this to your body, your lifestyle, your unique circumstances, and make this fit like the perfect puzzle that it is in your life. And try to find ways where you can improve. I'm telling you, self-improvement is part of the way through for chronic illness, for Lyme disease, for feeling better. Becoming a better version of yourself allows you to have permission to try things, have permission to move forward bravely in the face of something uncertain. And I know it can feel so hard and so uncertain, and it's been so long since you felt okay. And it's hard to get your questions answered sometimes. It's hard to be taken seriously. It's hard to feel like you're on the right path. But that's why I'm here. I want to share as much as I can with you, and I want you to know that you're on the right path, and I want to guide you down that path nice and easy, nice and calm, so that you're not in that ramped up state that causes you to slide backwards. That's what this is all about. So that's all I have for today's presentation. I hope this resonated with you. If it did, don't forget to smack that like button. That lets the YouTube gods know that this video is helpful for you. And that helps me reach more people. It helps more people find my stuff, people that would find it interesting, or at least, people that might need it. Some people need to hear these messages. They need to know that they're not alone. They need to know that they're moving in the right direction. They need to know that there's a structured, safe path that they can take instead of just the one path that they've been told about. And so if you share this, or if you like it, or if you subscribe, all of those things tell YouTube that this video is cool. It will show the video to more people that need to see it. And I certainly appreciate that. It is very easy for you to click a quick button. So do it right now. Just click subscribe, click the like button. And then, I'll keep making these videos. I'm planning on going live tomorrow at noon, even though it's Christmas Eve. I really want to hit the ground running with you. I want to connect with you on a deep level, and I want to build something here that we can all use to lift ourselves up. A rising tide lifts all ships. So let's do this. Can't wait for 2026 as we move forward and heal our bodies and start finally having that energy again, removing all the pains, making things work well in our favor again, and creating the perfect plan for you and your body, because you're a unique, special individual. You deserve a plan that fits into your life, not just some random cut together of a plan, not just some supplements that's filled with 50 different ingredients. You deserve the supportive, targeted protocol that works specifically for you and your body. And that's what we try to put together at lymewars.com. Of course, there's more we can add on to the kit, especially if you have co-infections or other infections you're dealing with. But talk to us, because we can help you do that. We can help you tailor make a perfect kit for you. And I can't wait to help you do that. So reach out, help@LymeDiseaseWars.com. Actually, let me do this. I just want to show you this. Let's see here. There we go. So now you have my email address right there, help@LymeDiseaseWars.com. It's right there. Just hit me up if you need anything. If you need someone to talk to, I'm here for you. If you just want to say Merry Christmas, I would love to give you a quick shout out. Merry Christmas to you and your family from me and my family. And yeah, let's do this. Let's rock this. Let's keep going. And we're going to move into 2026 and we're going to have a good year. I can feel it. I can feel it in my bones. People are ready to change. People are ready to step up into that new version of themselves. And I'm going to help you pave that path. I'm going to help you take those steps. Or at least I'm going to do everything in my God-given power to try. I'm here to serve. I'm here to provide. And I'm here to connect. And hopefully this connected with you and resonated with you. If it did, definitely let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. And go to LymeWars.com. And I will see you in the next broadcast, which will be, I'm saying tomorrow. It could be tricky. It is Christmas Eve. What do you guys think? Should I go live tomorrow? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat. Do you want me to go live tomorrow or not? I'll see what it says tomorrow and make my decision from there. But hopefully you'll see me tomorrow. It is Christmas Eve, but I'll just pop in and say Merry Christmas to you and your family, and then probably just pop out. But I am here for you if you need anything. Again, thank you so much. Super blessed and grateful for your attention and your time, and I'll see you next time.